My man AP, man, he told me to touch on this subject one time, you know what I mean? Really and truly, I don't give a fuck about Triple G, you know what I mean? Nothing against him, but that's not what tickles my fancy right about now in boxing, you know what I mean? I'm more interested in fellas like Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack, or even maybe Gary Russell versus Jojo Diaz, you know what I mean? I'm even more interested in anything Bud Crawford's doing, even with Jeff Horn, than I am with Triple G, you know what I'm saying? You know, through no fault of his own, Canoli did fuck up the dates, but still, the man is fighting a guy that, this boxing this weekend, and if anybody asks me who's fighting this weekend, first thing I'm gonna say is David Hay and fucking Tony Bellew before I'm gonna say Triple G. But anyways, man, so look, man, this man Triple G basically said that he has a better resume than Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins' only best wins were versus smaller guys at the middleweight. You know what I mean? You know, Triple G's full of shit, man. But what's really burning me, what really got me kind of heated is the fact that people actually including they trying to count this man IBO title defenses. They trying to count those as world titles, man. What's really good, man? Are you serious? Are you serious? Y'all fellas trying to really include Triple G's IBO. Since when was the IBO a real sanctioning body world title? You know what I mean? When did we ever count that to be as far as the criteria of being a world champion? You know what I'm saying? Last I remember, you needed four titles to be a world champion. Either or, whether it's WBO, WBA, WBC, or IBF. You know what I mean? You check it. So apparently, this guy. So there's, these Triple G fans, and there's nothing wrong with being a Triple G fan. Just keep shit in perspective. You know what I mean? Put stuff in the right context before you put yourself out there and you look like a fucking noodle. You know what I mean? Like you don't know shit about boxing, which is the truth, but you're just basically exposing yourself. You telling on yourself. You're exposing your hand. You know what I mean? How you gonna say the man Triple G IBO title defenses? Those are gonna count. Those are counting. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough you guys say that Triple G's WBA regular world titles that he won since he won his interim title with who was it with Milton Nunez or Nelson Tapia. You guys are counting those as title defenses. You check it. Like no, that's what we're not gonna do, man. That's like saying the man Abner Maris is the WBA featherweight champion, like Leo Santa Cruz ain't the super champion at featherweight. You know what I mean? That belt is just as good as trash. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. You might as well, if you have that regular belt, you ain't even supposed to be fighting nobody else except the real super champion. You know what I mean? You check it. So I don't know how many title defenses Triple G has, but guys are really trying to compare the likes of all right, who did he fight? He fought I don't know. Who did he fight? Fellas like who did he fight? Fellas like, for instance, Kell Brook. All right, Kell Brook was a welterweight champion. All right. One thing, Bernard Hopkins, he ain't pull up no motherfucking welterweights from straight up welterweight to come up and fight him. You know what I mean? He ain't do that. You check it. He fought guys like Simon Brown, but Brown was he was a former junior middleweight champion when he beat the man Terry Norris. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he was a welterweight champion, but he moved up and he fought the man Bernard Hopkins. You know what I mean? Bernard Hopkins stopped him in 6 rounds, but the man Simon Brown was a lineal champion. You know what I mean? That man had numerous title defenses at welterweight. I believe he had the IBF strap, and he beat Maurice Blocker for the WBC and unified. You know what I mean? And them fellas, you know, got the lineal title too. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that Kell Brook never done. Kell Brook just had an IBF strap and defended it against mediocre competition. You know what I mean? You check it. Guys like John David Jackson, that was a guy who was a former, John David Jackson has been a middleweight, middleweight and a junior middleweight champion. I mean, 2-2 division champion, 160. Great fight with the man, the Argentinian dude, the Castro dude, Jorge Castro. Great fight. Great fight, you know what I mean? John David Jackson, he's better than Matthew Macklin. He's better than Gabe Rosado, and I like Gabe Rosado. But these are the junior welterweights that, and Vanis Rosen. These are junior welterweights that been Triple G has fought. You know what I mean? So nah, dogs. That's what we're not gonna do, man. You check it, the man Triple G, man. Them fellas put his foot in his mouth, man, and he needs to go ahead. It looks like the man Abel Sanchez is putting a battery in his back, and maybe he wants Triple G to say outlandish, outrageous stuff. So maybe Abel Sanchez can't take the brunt of the blame or take all the heat because Abel Sanchez does say some nut ass shit, you know. All right, Kasimo Uma, great fighter in my opinion. It was a good fighter, you know. IBF champion, middleweight, you know. I'm sorry, a junior middleweight, you know what I mean? I put him on par with fellas like um who else? Uh who did Bernard Hopkins fight? Who else was a junior welter junior I'm so, sorry, a junior middleweight? Um You know, Felix Trinidad, man, he was a former junior welterweight champion, but come on, you can't compare them fellas Casimo Uma to Felix Trinidad. That's what we're not gonna do, man. You check it, you can't even compare fellas like Oscar De La Hoya to anybody of those smaller guys that Triple G claims that Bernard Hopkins is fighting. You know what I mean? That's what we're not gonna do. You check it. So, you know, I just had to let it be known, man. You know, y'all fellas trying to count these IBO title defenses. Get the fuck up out of here. Triple G, I don't even know if he still has that IBO strap. You know, I mean, I think he might still do, but you know, those title defenses or the IBO, they mean absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? The IBO is not a legitimate title. You know what I mean? That's like saying you're the WBO, World Boxing Union champion. You know, big up to my man Vinny Paz. I love Vinny Paz. I'm a big fan of Vinny Paz, you know. But Vinny Paz is my guy, you know what I mean? But he do been misleading people who don't know. You know, Vinny Paz got even a tattoo on his, what you call it, on his, is it the knuckle? Basically, not on his wrist, you know what I mean? Like basically like on his fist. On his fist, he has a tattoo says 5X. You know, Vinny Paz claims he's a five-time world champion. You know, but that's not true. He had a lot of minor titles. He's a two-time world champion, a champion at 135 with the what is it, IBF strap. I believe he beat Jimmy Paul for that strap. And what is it? The WBA junior middleweight 154 title. He beat Gilbert Deli, the French guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only two legitimate titles that Vinny Paz has. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to include all them other titles, well, that's not gonna work because them WBUs and all them other minor titles that Vinny Paz had, them joints don't count. You know what I mean? And Vinny Paz is my guy, you know, but he do misleading people when he calls himself a five-time champion. You know what I mean? 50 wins, 10 losses. You know, he was a good fighter. You know what I mean? But he's not a five-time world champion. You know what I mean? Johnny Tapia, on the other hand, he's a five-time world champion, maybe even numerous times over. You know what I mean? You check it because Johnny Tapia had belts like WBO, WBA. You know what I'm saying? And the IBF. You know what I mean? So he ain't have no nut ass IBO titles like Triple G's claiming with these title defenses. You know what I mean? Fellas trying to actually include these title defenses. All right. Look at fellas like Marvin Hagler. Look at the junior welterweights he fought. I'm sorry, junior middleweights he fought from Tommy Hearns. You know what I'm saying? Even Roberto Duran. You know what I mean? And, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard had campaigned at 154 one time when he beat the man Ayub Kalula, you know what I'm saying? But and then he went back to welterweight, was out the game for 3 years, and he came back, fought Marvin Hagler. You know what I mean? But these guys are not you know, these guys are not no Vanis Rosens or Kell Brooks. You check it, or Willie Monroe Juniors. You know what I mean? Or you know, Matthew Macklin's. You know, Ishida was a guy who was at 154 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Gabe Rosado. You check it, you know, Kasimo Uma. You can't compare these guys, you know what I mean? So y'all need to stop that BS talking about these WBO, I'm sorry, IBO title defenses that the man Triple G has. You can't count those, you know what I mean? Look, man, if we're gonna say that the man Triple G has defended To me, he became a world champion the night I was live in the building at MSG when he fought Daniel Gill. You know what I'm saying? I was live in the building for that. I believe in 2014. AP was good, he son. Good video. He says, good video, B Marsh, putting him on the boxing history with facts. No question, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even going to go in on Triple G, man, but now when fellas are actually trying to talk about the IBO belt being one of his title defenses, man, I had to go in, you know what I mean? Big ups to AP coming through in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Dylan Gallagher, what's happening, big man? He says they'll accept all sorts of lunacy if it supports their agenda. Yeah, that's true, but it actually makes them look real pathetic and bad and just lack of boxing knowledge, you know what I mean? And actually lack of integrity, you know what I mean? You got to call it how it is. You check it. We can't be trying to gift people stuff that they haven't actually achieved, you know what I mean? That's what we're not going to do. If the man Triple G, like I said, to me became the world champion with the real WBA super belt when he beat Daniel Gill, you know what I mean? And that's because Daniel Gill was also a guy who held the super belt, you know what I'm saying? Daniel Gill, to be honest, hey, let's keep it 100%, dog. Daniel Gill is the most accomplished fighter that Triple G has beat on his resume. And that's a fact, you know what I'm saying? What you call it? Daniel Gill is a unified champion. I remember he had an IBF strap that he beat some German Sebastian Sylvester for. Then he beat Felix Sturm. He went to Germany and he beat these Germans. He beat Felix Sturm for the real WBA super belt. You know what I mean? All that time, Triple G was still the regular champion. So really and truly, fellas and fucking lunatics like my man Dylan Gallagher calling them, when Triple G was a regular champ, Felix Sturm was the super champ, and he got beat by Daniel Gill. So Daniel Gill was even a super champ while the man Triple G was reigning with his regular belt. You know what I mean? So that's what we're not gonna do, man. You check it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Daniel Gill, and I think Daniel Gill, he vacated that belt or something, and he fought Triple G to become this, and whoever won that fight would be the super champ. And he lost his, because he had lost his, when Daniel Gill was a unified champ with the IBF and the WBA, he lost that IBF belt to Darren Barker, you know what I mean, in a great fight. That was a great close fight I believe it was in New Jersey, Atlantic City. You know what I'm saying? That's when, the middleweight division consisted of a lot of European guys, including Sergio Martinez. No, Sergio was actually from South America, Argentina. But it was guys like Sergio Martinez and the Sebastian Sylvester guys and Felix Sturm, you know what I mean? They had these type of characters who had who were world title holders, you know what I mean? Let me see what they're saying in the chat. Anthony Purvis says, what crazy is B-Hop is co-signing this BS by not speaking up because of his ties with HBO. Yeah, that's true, Truth be told, right now the man B-Hop's ties are with mostly with ESPN, you know what I mean? Because when Golden Boy does have a show on ESPN, he does the commentary, you know what I mean? But B-Hop should step to the plate and shut that shit down. Shut it down, you know what I'm saying? Put Triple G and his fanatics in place, you know what I mean? Because fellas are disrespecting his gangster, you know what I'm saying? You check it, Triple G, and I'm only talking about Bernard Hopkins' reign at middleweight, you know what I'm saying? Fellas like Robert Alley and William Joppy, you know what I mean? Big ups to William Joppy from Rockville, Maryland, from, what's that neighborhood? What's that hood called? Lincoln Park, you know what I'm saying? Big ups to Keith Holmes from Washington, D.C., you know what I mean? That was a guy who was better than everybody on the man Triple G's resume. You check it? The man fought Glenn Johnson. He was the first man to beat Glenn Johnson, you know what I'm saying? So stop with all this IBO bullshit. Joe Lipsy was another good fighter that the man B-Hop beat, you know what I mean? He was an undefeated knockout artist, you know what I'm saying? Segundo Mercado. Them fights that the man B-Hop went. He went to motherfucking Ecuador in high altitude where he probably couldn't breathe. That's why he got dropped twice, and he kind of got a gift decision against Segundo Mercado. Regardless, them fighters are better than most of the fighters that Triple G has fought and beat, you know what I'm saying? Because he ain't beat Cannoli. No, sir. I had that a draw, you know what I mean? So yo, man, just had to let it be known one time, man. Fuck that IBO belt. That counts for zero title defenses. Triple G been a world champion since 2014. You know what I'm saying? He's been a champion since 2014. I'm not even sure how many title defenses he's had since that Daniel Gill beating up in MSG that I was at. I believe you know, B Hop had 20 title defenses. I don't think even Triple G has 10. You know what I mean? I'm being real, you know what I mean? I don't think he has 10. You check it. Um yeah, so it is what it is, man. Triple G has no 20 title defenses. How the fuck can you count those WBA regular title defenses when Felix Sturm and Daniel Gill were the real champions? While that man was holding a WBA regular belt, Felix Sturm and Daniel Gill were holding super belts. You know what I'm saying? The super belt at 160. With that logic, Danny Jacobs was also a world champion when Triple G was holding the super belt because Danny Jacobs had the WBA regular belt. If with that logic, you nut ass Triple G fanatics, and I like Triple G, I got nothing against him, but it's y'all fans that make me have to call y'all out. With that kind of logic, the Japanese Ryota Murata, is a world champion, and all these title defenses against Hassan and Dam and whomever else he fought, he's the real champion, not Triple G. If that's how y'all want to play it, we can play that game. B Marsh Boxing. Hey, Juan Alvarez, how you doing, man? He's in the chat. He says, B-Hop said in an interview, there's levels to this, in reference to GGG. He knows that GGG is not on his level. No, he's not, man. You know, Triple G's never even held four belts like Bernard Hopkins. You know, Triple G. I mean, Bernard Hopkins held four world titles. You know what I mean? WBO, that he beat off Oscar De La Hoya. WBA, he beat off Felix Trinidad. WBC off of Keith Holmes. And his IBF, he got in the rematch with Segundo Mercado in 1995. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what we're not gonna do, man. You know what I'm saying? The man Bernard Hopkins was a Lineal and Ring Magazine champion. That's an accomplishment Triple G has yet to accomplish. You trying to tell me Triple G been a champion since 2011? God damn, we're in 2018, and which he hasn't been a real champion since 2011, 2010. But if that's what y'all want to say, why the fuck doesn't he have even a Lineal or Ring Magazine world title? You know what I mean? You check it. So Triple G, you should shut your mouth, man. You always let Abel Sanchez do the talking for you. Just let it be known. Just leave it like that. So if Abel Sanchez said these nut-ass statements and comments, I will go in on Abel Sanchez, not you, Triple G. B Marsh Boxing about to seal the deal. Big ups to Juan Alvarez. AP, my man, Anthony Purvis. Dylan Gallagher, give thanks for coming through. Fuck that IBO belt. Fuck Triple G's WBO regular reign title. He was a champion from 2014. I believe I went to that fight in June of 2014. And that's when he's been the world champion, really and truly. You know what I'm saying? Then he unified IBF with the man David Lemieux. And then he was handed a WBC belt. He ain't have to fight nobody for it. Kind of like Lennox Lewis when he got handed the WBC belt when Lennox Lewis threw that shit in the trash. You know what I mean? I said Lennox Lewis, excuse me, Riddick Bowe. B Marsh Boxing about to seal the deal on this. Big ups to everybody coming through. That IBO strap is not a world title defense. I'm out. Peace.